Welcome back, Lords Mobile fans. Thank you very much for joining me, and as you can see, starting this one off with something that's not really anything to do with me. I'm just snatching onto this, I'm recording it. Someone's posted it in guild chat. It's an 898 million my player with over 10 rallies coming at him, and now he is burning. So I think he was probably offline for this one. He was in war gear, but down to 365 million might. And needless to say, that was the zero complete, and he did have some pretty big players coming at him there, but it just must be crazy logging off almost 900 million might, and when you log back on 365 mil and completely zeroed. And to be fair to him, he did have a lot of troopers, almost 600 million troop might. He did cap the first few rallies, but he did end up zeroed, and I wish him all the very best. And moving on, we have a target offline in Monster Hunt gear. Unfortunately, we did miss the first couple of rallies, but my man Shiro being a complete legend and recording the last few, so a 39 million might drop, 1.5 million reds, and that really sets things up nicely for one last rally. And here it comes now, the PJC rally is going to come speeding on in. We're going to beat those reigns. O13 were reigning this guy until the very end, so fair play to them. But a 96 million might drop, 4.2 million reds, a beautiful hit by PJC. And that should be enough to allow the solos to come rocking in, and they do. Unfortunately, by the time Shiro gets there, he slams into the empty castle, but he won't mind that because he is the one that came in with this awesome first rally. Have a look at this, an 81 million might drop, only a 4 troop walk back, and that really cleared the way for us to come in and try and get a clean cavalry rally. But they really stopped that from happening with their reinforcements, but still we got a 40 million might drop. They were constantly reinforcing that range front line. It made it very difficult, and in these situations you really do have to be willing to lose some troopers, and of course SizeMatters are, to get this beautiful zero complete. And now with very little troopers left, even though once again they are going to reinforce that range front line, we can come in with a cav rally, and because he simply does not have the T2 range to take out our cav, despite them putting the T4 there, it just wasn't enough, and the zero was complete. Another beautiful zero to add to the long and ever growing list. And moving on, we are hoping to add another one to that list. This guy is hopefully offline. We have a PJC rally about to come storming in, and it's tense times. We are just hoping that we don't see the gear swap. He's over 700 million might, and he is looking very offline in speed gear, and he hasn't got an anti-scout. And looking at his scout, I'm not going to show it, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, but he simply doesn't have enough T2 to cap this rally. So we're thinking, as long as he doesn't switch into any crazy gear and counter us, we should be fine. So he's still in speed gear. I switch back, have one last look, and he's switched into some sort of dodgy half speed gear, half war gear, so completely disgusting. A 90 million might drop, a crazy amount of reds. So looking at the gear that he swapped him to, you would really think that he couldn't have made things any worse, but actually, as you may have seen, he took a cav rally in infantry flanks. So not only did he switch into dreadful gear, he didn't even swap formation and got fully countered. So I have no clue what he was doing, but I wish him all the best as he sits safe and sound in his bubble. And moving on, we have another clip sent to me by one of my gorgeous guildmates, Siren. So a big shout out to Siren for sending me this. We have a 325 million might player, hopefully offline in Monster Hunt gear. And taking a rally offline in Monster Hunt gear, especially with a rally lead like Tara coming at you, is definitely not a good idea. So as this rally comes marching in, we are of course hoping that we don't see that gear swap and we see that beautiful fire burning, and that is exactly what we see. And this should be a really beautiful hit. Let's have a look. Tara hits like an absolute truck, so I'm sure this should be wonderful. Down to 252 million might. Ouch, absolutely crazy, and still in that Monster Hunt gear, so we should be all good for another hit if he needs it. A 6.5 million casualties in that hit, a 75 million might drop, 4.2 million reds, leaving only 5.9 million left. So we will be going again, and hopefully we will be getting this zero complete, just praying that he doesn't come online. So coming in with this one, we have the amazing Tom Brady, yet another awesome rally leads in the long list of them at SizeMatters. Smashing in to this guy, it's still in Monster Hunt gear and making the solos possible. And what a routine zero it was, those solos marching in straight after the rally and mopping up those troopers nice and quickly, so that the vultures that have come in to try and steal those kills get absolutely nothing. So 66 million might drop, 2.5 million reds, 2.6 million survived that got gobbled up by all of those solos. And once again, that was a very routine 0 to add to the long, ever-growing list. And 172 million might, still in Monster Hunt gear, he let his anti-drop. And that was really not a good thing to do with Tara and all of SizeMatters lurking around. I'm pretty sure he had no anti, but either way, it doesn't matter now. Down to 0, and my baby girl Boo coming in with a massive solo, a 22.3 million might drop. What an absolutely brutal solo with 621k reds. That is not going to feel good. So having a look at the total might loss, 325 million might, asleep in Monster Hunt gear and left down at 172 million might. And of course, I wish him all the very best. And moving on to a little bit of solo trap action, I'm trying an extremely sketchy solo trap baiting technique. I am walking my leader across this guy that is scouting around. So I've capped him on the big ChaCha, I've capped the solo trap leader on a camp. And now I've walked my leader across him, and of course he scouted me, and it's now sending a 375k leaderless march of Cav, and actually having 225k T5 in there. It did drop me down a couple of mil might almost, and I was willing to let that sit, just not heal to make it look like I am offline. And I was hoping he would post me in guild chat, and maybe someone else or even he would come in and try the solo with the leader. And soon enough, this guy ported in, and it got me all excited. Any second now, ready for the solo to come march in, and there it is. So switching into gear nice and fast, because I find a lot of people speed it in. This guy didn't, so he did make me feel a little bit silly switching so early. And I actually went into my beds to heal, but I didn't do it quick enough, so I took 511k wounded in total from those 2 hits, 283k from that second hit, switching back into the fake gear very casually. So let's have a look at this report. A 13 million might drop, a pretty much pure T4, and he actually gets rescued by a 2.5% Helldrider. So that was a little bit frustrating, but nevertheless a brilliant cap from the solo trap, and I enjoyed that. It was pretty intense. However, I don't think I'll be doing the leader baiting tactic too much. It is just asking for trouble, asking to get hit leaderless from a big T5 player, and I don't want that to happen. So just moving on to the next bit of solo trap action. And really here, I had to work for this one. This guy sent a load of leaderless T1, and as a solo trap, it was really difficult to sit here and let him give me all of these kills. He sent over 20 marches of T1, and why has this guy even got so much T1? I have absolutely no idea, but I came over on my main account, and I was making it look like I was knocking the might down as well. So now over 2 million might drop on the solo trap, and of course I haven't healed. And finally an arrow came through with a leader from really far away, and I didn't realise how weak this guy was. He would have been a really awesome rally target had I realised, but I didn't. I was too concentrated on these guys. So this is actually a T5 march, finally coming from the guy that was chucking all of that terrible T1 at me. So I'm going to switch into gear hopefully for that T5 march, just to make sure that that doesn't give me too many losses. I'm quite happy to take the other march that's coming in from miles away out of gear, so I'm going to switch back into fake gear, so hopefully he won't recall that one. So that first guy is capped, and I was going to switch into real gear, and as I look back I realised that it had already hit, so kind of no point. And then better late than never, this other guy, the guild leader, the R5, finally sends his march as well. So now we are going to jump into the infirmaries, clear those wounded so that I don't take any reds on this hit. And that is the R5's leader captured, and now we are going to be setting a rally on him. And hopefully we will see some damage, but he is quite fat. He's over 600 million might, so it should be interesting. And he is of course leaderless and in fury, so he has to take the rally whether he likes it or not. But unfortunately he did end up to be a fat boy. Here is the solo report. So as you can see, he is capped, but he did end up to have a fat boy troop comp. He capped PJC. I didn't manage to record it. By this point he has got 3 rallies set on him, and so the SPR rally has already hit, the TZ rally just zooming in there, and finally the Tara rally burns him off of the Wunder beautifully. So considering he was leaderless, I think he did a pretty awesome job, but Tara giving him a 63 million might drop there, 2.3 million reds, leaving him with 6.7 million survived. And like I say, considering he was leaderless, I think he did awesome, and a big shout out to SPR and TZ for helping us get the burn on that one, knocking him down to 547 million might, and I really do wish him all the best. And very swiftly moving on, we have a good old Griffin trapping experience on the baby Griffin, and as you can see, we have this guy sending T4 infantry and his leader. So here, once again, I am really hoping to set up a Griffin target or two for the guild, and it is just beautiful to see all of these T4 troopers walking towards the baby Griffin despite the reputation, despite the 498 million kills. These guys are still clueless. I'm just switching into talents, checking the formation, just making sure I don't make any mistakes, hitting the homer bind, the troops come zooming home, getting ready to unshelter the leader, out she comes, now switching into attack gear. So now all that's left to do is elegantly hit that random relocator, pull in all of those armies, and capturing a leader as well. So we want to rally that guy. Unfortunately, I didn't get this guy's leader, but Drakey coming in and giving it a whack anyway. An 18.2 million might drop, 705k reds, and you can see from that I've taken out all of his T4 infantry. Drakey coming in with that range hit, and he has just got no infantry to even counter it. So it was brutal, and here comes Drakey once again, and yet another march coming towards him. He's forced to random away 11.7 million might drop, 809k reds. Obviously we've still got a tracker, so he's still in trouble, and you can see from that he's pretty much got all range left, so a couple more infantry solos and he will be completely zeroed. And this has all come from the adorable baby Griffin trap doing its thing and managing to do a nice bit of damage to his T4 infantry, and it really left him vulnerable to that Drakey range solo. And what a way for Drakey to hit 600 million kills. A big congratulations to him. A 30 million might drop. Look at that solo. That is one of the biggest solos I have ever seen, and I really did find myself drooling over that solo report for a very long time. And here comes Ego smashing into that leaderless victim fearlessly, and unfortunately he did happen to have a fat boy troop comp once again, but giving him over a million losses that he probably didn't want, and he definitely had no choice whether he took those losses or not. You have to remember, he was in Fury, he was leaderless, so he had to do his best, and I would say he did pretty well. And at SizeMatters, we are just accepting that this is the risk with these leaderless victims. PJC coming in with another rally. I didn't record it, but we had that third rally set, and then he actually bubbled. So Ego looking cute, doing the walk of shame. And just jumping into these baby Griffin reports, let's have a look how much damage the baby Griffin actually caused. This for me proves that sometimes doing a lot of damage with the Griffin trap is more important than capturing the leader, or just as important. So that guy losing all of his T4 infantry, making him a really good target and getting zeroed. So the baby Griffin hitting 500 million kills, an amazing milestone. Thank you very much for watching. Please do hit that like and subscribe, and no doubt I will be seeing you very soon.